Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, let's talk about the specific person that avoidants find attractive. I've mentioned this before on this channel, but they're not really too particular about the physical look of a person. I'm not saying you guys are not attractive and your avoidant partner, like, doesn't care about your looks because you're unattractive. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. You are definitely physically attractive to your partner. That is for sure. But avoidants are a lot more drawn to other traits as well. And so this is what a lot of people I think get confused about when it comes to like avoidance complimenting you, especially. They might compliment you. Yeah, they do compliment your physical look, some of them, but a lot of them will compliment more about things like this. And then you might think it means they don't find you attractive because it doesn't feel like it's attraction because it's not physical. But it is. It's part of their attraction. And so that's what I want to talk about. Obviously, a lot of you guys know I, see a lot of couples. I've actually seen some of you guys as a couple, right? And if you need to see me, that's pinned in the comments. So I do see a lot of these dynamics, a lot of them. And almost every partner that an avoidant is with is like this. And yes, they do verbally say, yeah, this is a person that I find attractive. This is so attractive about them. And so this comes from a lot of knowledge that I have with working with avoidants. And so like I'd mentioned, if you want to book a call with me, it's pinned in the comments. But let's just go into the video. The first one is someone who's genuine, but in like a very gentle and kind way. It's kind of hard to explain it, so I hope that you picked up what I meant. This person is like very like genuine. Actually, another way I want to say is like, it sounds a little odd, but like almost like innocent. I'm not saying you don't have life experience. That's really not what I'm saying, but it's almost like you're very open, honest, you're emotionally available, and you're kind, and like you can understand so many different things. And the reason why avoidants like this is because it gives them a sense of trust, because you are someone who clearly you're not really going to judge them. I mean, being with an avoidant is so challenging. If you're already with an avoidant, you're not a very not a judgmental person at all. And I've had calls with you guys. Like, you guys are you're amazing, right? You're so sweet. You're so genuine. You really care. And the truth of the matter is, avoidants, they love you and are attracted to you for a reason. And a lot of times, avoidants with this particular trait, this is one of those traits where it makes them really feel comfortable to change for you. It takes a really long time. And a lot of people think change is a bad thing. No, it's a good thing. To want to change is healthy. I changed for my partner and he changed for me. Like, I think it's a good thing. Maybe we can agree to disagree, but I think changing for your relationship is healthy. And a lot of avoidants feel that way as well. And so once they really feel that you are truly that kind and genuine person, they truly start changing very slowly. But what unfortunately can happen is sometimes that timing's a little bit too late, and then you get frustrated and they feel almost like you aren't that kind and genuine person, even though you are. They just drove you to that point. But genuinely inside, this is who you are, and they find it really attractive. That's why they're so drawn to you. The next one is affection for animals or even babies, even insects. I don't like insects, but I don't want them hurt. So you can imagine that some people feel that way as well, right? And a lot of avoidants are like this by nature. A lot of them don't like hurting, these type. No, nobody really likes to hurt things like that, like animals, etc. But it's more like a genuine care, where it's like maybe you're a person who loves animals. You love horses. One of my closest friends, she absolutely loves horses. For me, I really like dogs, and I like cats too, right? I do like animals as well. And so everyone has their own perspective of animals. But if you're a person who can really connect and give to animals and be very warm towards animals, the reason why this is fostered of a sense of trust and a connection through a shared interest. A lot of avoidants are more comfortable loving animals. And like, I think that is something that was true for me. I was much more comfortable when I used to be avoidant. It was a lot easier for me to love an animal because it made me feel like there was less pressure. Now I can, of course, understand both. I'm talking about when I was really little, like when I was a child. Like animals, I was always more gravitated towards that because I felt like I could understand them. There wasn't a lot of word exchange, which is always something that I struggled with, right? Like a lot of people having a lot of emotions, negative conversations. And I'm a very like direct person. You guys know, like I don't understand like all these types of humor and like all these indirect conversations, but animals don't give me that pressure. They just are action oriented, and that's the way I am. And a lot of avoidants are like that. So if you like animals, it makes them feel attracted to you, but also that they can trust you and feel like, okay, there's a part of you that can understand their communication. I hope that made sense. The next one is independence. Now, you don't have to be as independent as them, but avoidants find a little bit of independence attractive. And a lot of you guys are independent. Like, you guys are really good in your career. You guys are pretty self-regulated to some extent. And I see that. So I can easily tell why your partner likes you. But it makes them feel like the relationship is more harmonious, right? That you're able to regulate, that you're able to understand, that you're able to sometimes give them the space that they need. And they find it really attractive. A sub point of this, I've noticed a lot of avoidants like people who have certain titles and positions, not for the financial reason, absolutely not. Because you can have a title and have absolutely, like you could be like a stay-at-home mom or dad, but you still have a title. The reason why avoidants believe that a title can sometimes be attractive is partly because a lot of them have titles. But another reason is because it takes a lot of emotional grit to get that title. And so they automatically think that you're very resilient. It's not always true, but you guys can probably see it translates a little bit. That one's more common with dismissive avoidance, by the way. The next one is they find direct communication attractive, more particularly if it's direct communication with a more softer approach. And so clear and straightforward communication is very essential for these relationships. And it's often because a lot of them struggle with interpreting indirect cues. I've told you guys that before, right? It's helpful when their partner can express their needs very clearly and directly, but even more so in a soft way. If you say it harshly, that's actually unattractive to avoidance. In fact, speaking indirectly is more attractive than someone speaking directly and completely harsh and negative. You can say it direct, but what I mean by harsh and negative, it could be like, you're the most terrible person in the world. I don't like you, right? That's really harsh and negative. Whereas maybe you could say, that's still clear. You just said you don't like this person, but you can say, let's say whoever you're talking about, I don't like this person because A, B, and C, and my opinions are more like X, Y, and Z. That is clear and straightforward, but it's more harmonious. And so that's just a difference there. The next one is the ability to let go of arguments. Doesn't mean you let it go completely. A lot of you guys get confused when I say this. I'm not saying never bring up negative things. I'm just saying that avoidants dislike conflict. And so having a little bit less frequency of that conflict, a little bit less. Even to the point where maybe you guys had the same argument every month, once a month, right? Maybe once every 2 months. That's decreased, right? That's all I mean, just a little bit. And then if you want to decrease it even further, you absolutely can, or you can keep it that way if you feel like both you guys are getting what you need out of it. The next one is the ability to understand the other person's point of view. I probably should have put this one first. No, actually, the most important one was the one I put first, genuine, gentle. But this one is one of the more important ones. When you can understand their point of view, you can really, like, they feel really loved. And by the way, a lot of you guys already do this one, so I don't need to touch on it too much because that's literally why you watch my videos. Like, there's probably nobody in my audience who doesn't have this trait because then you wouldn't find my videos. Because majority of my videos are understanding avoidance for the other person because, like, that's avoidance can be challenging in that way. And I understand that, especially because I work with so many of them. I have that knowledge for you. So like, there's probably almost nobody in my audience who does not have this one, but you're trying to understand why they do what they do so that you can give them the love they need. And this is a very attractive trait. And so really, if you have any of these traits and you feel like you're ashamed of them, I just want you to know you're clearly attractive to your partner. But if there are some of these traits that you want to kind of lean into a little bit to become more attractive for yourself or your partner, that is completely fine too. Let's summarize and we'll wrap it up. Like a genuine, gentle, kind person, affection for animals, independence, direct communication, but it's not going to be harsh, just direct, clear, ability to let go of arguments, and the ability to understand another person's point of view, but also to want to understand it. Not just the ability, but also the desire. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.